Yes. The subject product design and manufacturing. So as the name itself indicates, where you come across two aspects. One is the design aspects and another one is the manufacturing aspects. By using these two, you'll be getting a product. So what is the specific definition of the product design? That is nothing but the process of conceptualizing, planning, and detailing how a product should look, function, and meet user needs. So that is the definition of the product design. And when it comes to the manufacturing, it is nothing but the process of producing the physical products. So based upon the design specification which you have taken in the conceptualization stage or the design product design stage through various production methods. So there are different production methods that is been available to develop the physical product, right? So let us say example as casting, forging, CNC, turning, milling. So there are different methods which has been available to prepare the product. So which one you're going to choose, based upon that you're going to produce the product. So the stages in which the product development goes will be initially from the idea stage, then it goes to the design stage. The design stage where all the planning, conceptualization, how the product should look, functionality, all those things will be considered, and then the drawings will be released where the manufacturing team will look after to manufacture the component, that is to prepare the physical products. They select that is different production methods and they prepare the component. Different components will be prepared, and then by assembling all the components, the product will be formed. So in context of product design and manufacturing, we define the product is nothing but the outcome of the design and manufacturing process. So that is all we say with respect to the product. So when it comes to the historical evolution of product design, so the transition from craft-based design to modern engineering design. So how the design used to take place in the pre-industrial revolution era, right? So that is the craft-based era. What we call it as craft-based era, nothing but the where the products were made by the handmade by skilled trainers. They used to prepare the products, and the design and production were integrated, where the craftsmen used to decide the form, function, and aesthetics. The customization was high, but the scalability was low. What do you mean by scalability? Scalability is nothing but what the number of parts that can be prepared by the particular employee, the company, the industry, whatever it is. But as it was been handmade, the number of parts that used to prepare was low. That is what it indicates, and the materials and the tools were limited, and the knowledge was passed through apprenticeship or the by the family person. They used to take the knowledge. So that is how the craft-based era started, mainly focusing on the handmade products. And now, after the post-industrial revolution, the engineering design era started, where a separate design process and the manufacturing process were being categorized. Introduction of standardization and interchangeable parts were being implemented. Design became the systematic, involving calculations, drawings, and specifications. Rise of engineering disciplines like different category, mechanical, electrical, civil, which influence the product design for the most efficient product. So when you take an example of a craft-based era, you can just take the handmade wooden chair. So where the design and production will be integrated, because the person who is doing the wooden chair by the handmade, he is the one who think how to do the chair, and he prepares the product. The physical product will be prepared by him himself. So therefore, the design and production will be both integrated by the person who is designing, or who is preparing the chair. So there is no separation between the designer and manufacturer. The customization, as is the one who do, he doesn't take the standard dimensions or things. So each component or chair which you are going to prepare, it becomes a uniqueness, and based upon the customer requirement, he carves the chairs with respect to the dimensions. So the tools and materials which he used to prepare the product was the hand tools like chisels, saws, and hammers are being used when material is typically locally sourced wood. And the knowledge transfer was being limited, related to the apprenticeship or family traditions, not formal from engineering educations. And the characteristic is what high craftsmanship and aesthetic value. Low scalability, making one chair take significant time. No standardized parts. Repair requires the same addition. So this is the one uh, process which has been followed before the industrial revolution, that is the craft based era, what we call it as craft based era. After the post industrial revolution, the engineering design era, what we call it as, where the components, how the components prepared. So designing stream has been separated, the manufacturing or production stream has been separated. The design, let us say, take an example of a smartphone development, the smartphone which you are having. So that is one of the product, right? So first the designing stage where the conceptualization will come into picture. So the preparation of the phone will start with designing the purpose why the phone needs to be utilized. So for example, the for the gaming purpose, so if you consider, the planning has to be made in such a way that the screen size should be large, the battery capacity should be high, the camera specification should be high. So all those things will be come the first preference category. And the detailing, creating CAD model of the particular components, ergonomic design needs to be considered, UI interface layout has to be considered. All those things will be considered, and the design of the phone will be smartphone will be prepared. And then the production team will come into picture by initially starting with the material selection. So which one has to be choose for the body part, for the screen part. For the body, you cannot choose the glass. For the body, you need to select the aluminum as the material, or different material will be chosen. And for the screen, the glass material will be chosen, and which production method needs to be selected for different components which come into picture in the smartphone. Let us say an example of CNC machining will be utilized to prepare the frames, and the injection molding will be used for the plastic parts. The PCB assembly for the electronics, assembly and quality control, all will come into picture, and putting all the components together to form a one functional smartphone, which is a user friendly based upon the input data which they have been selected in the conceptual stage, right? So based upon that, the functionality will be improved, right? So this is how the process will be taken place. As I mentioned, the idea will next go to the design stage. From the design stage, next the manufacturing stage, and then the product will be released. So this is what we call it as the engineering design era.